The Mine Workers Union, however, claimed that since the strike started, the company offered a $300 increase on housing allowance and accommodation. The union also confirmed that the mining and processing of marble is still ongoing, despite employees being on an active strike.
Since the commencement of the strike on Monday, the 12th of April 2021, we have seen nothing but non-compliance by the management. Management continues to employ Chinese nationals who are operating front-end loaders to load the material. Those are the jobs that are supposed to be done by the people here at the picketing line. Viva la Viva! Viva la Viva! Viva! That is an intentional, a rude and systematic way of telling us to our faces that we matter nothing. We are standing here in the sun since Monday, we matter nothing. Production is going on.
A meeting between the union and management was held on Friday, and the company's general manager, Mike Chai, was requested to address the workers, but failed to do so, and instead attempted to sneak out of the premises through the back gate. This angered the workers, who decided to block all entrances to the mine. The Karibib police station commander was called in to defuse the flaring tempers, which in the end forced the general manager to address the workers.
From our position, we can readdress the demand again in the honest manner, and then we can continue.
Chai pleaded for more time to come up with a satisfactory feedback.
You're from Namibia and you're from the Besher mine?
Yes, I'm from the Besche investment mine where we are mining marble and granite.
But the workers who get it out should be treated decently.
Yes, but that's not the case currently right now at our mines, because there's a lot of exploitation of employees. Employees are getting salaries lowest 2,900 a month. The highest paid employees are 4,900 a month. So, I mean, employees have been exploited. It's been many years now. Most of the employees have been to the company almost 10 years, but still they cannot afford decent housing and proper housing because they don't have house allowance. They don't have medical aid. I mean, these guys still live in the shacks, which is known as informal settlement.
And so the pay is not enough to even provide decent housing for the workers.
The pay is really, they are really paid below. I don't know now when you are comparing 2,900 a month in your currency, how much is it? And the highest actually paid 4,900. So, and these guys on top of this, they don't have house allowance, they don't have medical aid, they don't have car allowance. I mean, there's nothing, they can't purchase anything. Actually, they're actually just working for food and clothing, and that's it. And these people have a family, man, they have wives, they have children, they have extended families to take care of.
It sounds like slave labor.
Yes, this is slave labor. And on top of that, I mean, the employees just embarked in a recent strike that took place in April, where they were now demanding better wages and better benefits. And the strike have resulted in zero. They didn't get anything because the company was not offering any salary increase for them. So now the company wants to retrench those particular employees because they want to get rid of the union. They want to get rid of the voice of the workers. You understand? In our country, we have democratic rules whereby workers have the right to air their concern when they are not happy. But that's not the case with these Chinese. You know, these guys are coming from communist countries. They do not want these laws to be practiced by employees. They want workers that does not complain, you know, that's to remain in slavery.
And have they brought in Chinese workers to replace you?
Yes, they have. Yes, they have over 40 Chinese employees that are working here, that are doing work that can be done by ordinary Namibian. This is the case we've been facing. I mean, and our government is lately doing nothing about it.
So you have a high unemployment rate in Namibia. Why are they bringing in workers to replace workers who can do the job already?
Yeah, I mean that's the question. I think in that way, I think they want to replace Namibians so that Namibians do not, because they complain a lot because the wages are small, so they rather bring in their workforce from China, which is cheaper to them or affordable to them. I mean, also making a decent living. I think most of the Chinese are better off when they are in Namibia compared to China.
And have these Chinese workers, are you able to communicate with them, or they're just, how do you work with them? Are
No.
you training them to do your job? Some of them I heard were untrained. Is that true?
Yes, some of the Chinese, we train them to do the job. I mean, like the cutting the stones, and some of them come here, they can't even hardly drive a car or any machine. You understand? They're just general workers.
They're general workers. So you train them as stone cutters for the quarry,
Yeah.
and then they take your jobs. Is that what's going on?
Yes, and then they take our job over.
And also, we're joined by Julius Ashipala.
Thank you. Good evening, comrades. My name is Julius Ashipala. I'm one of the 9 illegally dismissed BEC members of the CNNC Rosing Uranium Limited. So I'm basically part of this discussion.
The fact that not only are they going after the mine workers union at Rosing, but now they're going after mine workers at Beshear. You think there's a pattern here, Julius?
Yes, I'll say yes, Comrade Steve. In a sense to say, we said that the workers are under attack, and now it's I think these are the results of the capitalists taking over, trying to demoralize and basically destroy the unions in Namibia. So what's happening at Beshear should not come as a surprise, because as we all know, the Beshears, the employees had a strike where they were demanding better wages earlier this year, and it reached a deadlock on several occasions. So after that, it was to be expected what was to come. So we are definitely under attack, and I think it's these platforms such as this are a blessing in disguise, where we basically should come and discuss these issues so that we can find a stop to these attacks.
Tuhafeni, when did you talk about your strike, why you went on strike, and what happened during your strike?
Just the member, but I'm a union member. But now I'm here with my colleagues, who's actually a vice secretary of the branch. Our colleagues, some of our colleagues, the chairperson and the secretary, could not be here today because they are residing at one mine. They are based staying there. So it's like, yes, they are basing there. It's like 40 kilometers from here, so they could not come today. So we will talk on their behalf.
What happened? You were forced to go on strike, or you went on strike to better your conditions? Why don't you talk about that strike?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Martin. I'm the vice secretary of the Union MUN branch.
Welcome, Martin.
Okay. I just want to unpack regarding with your question, why did we end up in a strike? The reason is because ever since we started with our negotiation with Beshear management 2019, if I'm speaking under correction, we did not reach any agreement on the increasement, on any increasement between the Beshear workers and Beshear management. So we always have to go to the Labor Commission, and then from there, we did not get any proper answer. That is why we went on strike. During the time of the strike, the management did not pay any attention to the workers. All they did is they started buying material from another companies until the workers, which was actually demoralizing the workers, until they surrender, until they went back to their working place without achieving anything. And the other thing is also that the MUN leadership, Western leadership, they did not put more effort. They did not do anything to Beshear workers. They did not give any strong support. That's why the workers end up in a demoralized situation. They go back to work without getting anything.
Why did the union, national union, not support your strike? Did you ask them to support it? What did they say?
We've been asking support from the branch organizer, the branch secretary, the branch, the regional secretary, until the president of the MUN. But ever since we arranged our meeting with them, they did not bring out any good results. That's why the worker end up going back to work without getting anything.
And did the company continue to operate while you were on strike?
The company started buying materials from other companies, which was demoralizing the workers. They did not pay any attention to the worker on the strike, so they started buying material from other companies.
And are there Chinese workers who are being brought in to replace you, and are you training them to do the work that you do?
We, the Namibian workers, we are the one training the Chinese workers. The Chinese here, they come not knowing anything. They cannot even operate some of the machinery we use at the quarries. So the Namibian workers are the one training them then.
So is this a private company or a state-owned company of China?
It's a private company. It's a private company.
So you think they basically want to increase the exploitation for more profit for themselves? Is that what this is about?
Obviously, yes.
Is this marble exported to China or all over the world that you're cutting at this mine?
I understand they are exporting all over the world.
Comrade was saying that the conditions are very bad as far as being able to afford housing, healthcare. What are your healthcare benefits working in this mine?
Let me start with the safety from the mining quarries. The safety at the working place, it's not implemented. There is no safety officer to guide the workers. There is no medical aid for the workers.
When workers get injured, what happens to them? How are they able to take care of themselves if they get injured at that mine?
When the worker get injured, they only transport them to the nearest clinic and then go to the doctor. That's all. Public clinic, yes.
So has injuries gone up as a result of the way the mine owner treats you and the other miners?
The injuries are happening because sometimes you will find a Chinese forcing the Namibian worker to work at a place which is not safe. That's why I mentioned that they don't have any safety officer to guide the workers at the working area.
It sounds like slave driving. You're being driven to do things that are dangerous, regardless of the cost to your members.
Definitely.
And how many marble mines are there in Namibia? Are there a lot of marble mines?
There are quite a lot. There are quite a lot.
How many of them are organized or have unions?
I cannot really tell how many of them are organized. I cannot really give you a proper answer.
When did your mine become organized? When did you get a union at your mine?
2015.
2015. So who was it first owned by? Was it owned by somebody else before the Chinese private owner took it over? Or they've owned it the entire time?
Yes, they started themselves the entire time.
And so your union is asking for support. How many workers work at the mine?
The workers, the union paid up member, they are 109, I think. Right. They are 109.
When your strike was broken, what did the national union say about that? What was the response of the national union?
Okay. Our biggest concern here is the unions or the union leaders are actually the ones selling out the employees. Because I remember very well during the strike, the regional secretary of Western from Mineworkers Union, Petrus is an employee at Rossing Mine. And together with our shop steward, I think the branch chairperson and the vice secretary, they went to see the president of the Mineworkers Union, Allen Kalumbu, in Windhoek, with Mr. Mike Chow, who is the general manager of Bestia Investment. But as we speak today, there is no minutes of that meeting that took place. because just after the strike have collapsed, there was a letter written to the employees from the HR that is referring that that letter clearly stated that this should not come as a surprise to you, as this was already discussed. The retrenchment was already discussed in the meeting that took place with your national union leaders. So, meaning that a resolution was taken in that meeting at Mr. Allen Kalumbu as the president of the Mineworkers Union. We have requested minutes of that meeting, which until today they cannot provide, because that meeting have led to this retrenchment. So we don't know what was discussed there. So we wanted now to follow up with the minutes, but they could not give us minutes. We called Mr. Allen Kalumbu and he hung up the phone in our ears. This is the games that the union leaders are currently doing. They're actually more on company side than the employee side.
You think that they have been bought off? Why do you think that they're refusing to properly support you? Because you're in the same union, you pay them dues, you pay them your salaries. Part of your salaries go to the national leadership, don't they?
We pay them because we pay every month. We pay 1% of our salary goes to the Mineworkers Union. But that is very surprising, and these are the things that we've been suspecting all along. This is not a new thing, because by now they should have really stand behind. Even when those letters were written that we are going to face a retrenchment, there is nobody that came on board and really approached the BEC or the employees of Bestie up until today. So, I mean, one can conclude that they are more on the company side than on the employee side.
Our forefathers fought that fight. We were freed from that contract system. They want to bring us back to that. And we are rejecting that with 100%. We don't want it. We want to be free economically and free in our land as we were freed by our forefathers through the fight of independence. Comrades, we need to wake up, and there will be people that will come and break you here, that will come and convince you and say, comrade, you came alone. But you must remember, this fight, when you go and sell out your brothers, you alone will feel the punch, because when you have a fist like this and it's closed, no one can break it, but the finger can be broken. Comrades, we need to stand together. We need to send a message every day to the citizens or residents of Karibib, residents of Usakos, the entire Namibian. We need your solidarity. We need to be in solidarity together, comrades. That's the message that we need to send out to Namibia. Viva, comrades, viva!
Viva!
Viva, comrades, viva!
Viva!
Amandla!
Away!
Amandla!
Away!
How did you get in contact with the Rasa union leaders? Did they offer support for you?
Yes, during the strike, they were here. They were offering support to the striking employees. I mean, in solidarity, because they also faced these unfair labor practices when they were dismissed. I think one can conclude that they also didn't get support from the Mineworkers Union. Yes, I'm speaking under correction. I mean, that's what I picked up. I mean, me personally, I know the guy who's the regional chairperson, Abut Kapere. We've been schooling together. I personally called him and tell him that he should really give support to those guys during that time when they were not even dismissed. Because, I mean, we had a guy like Hennes Harasep, who's one of my colleagues. So we went to school together, we grew up together. And most of them that were dismissed is people that I know, like George, who link us up with you. And he's just told me, no, Petrus, I'm going to take care of this. And up until I hear these colleagues are dismissed. I mean, the unions really in Namibia, as we speak right now, they are more on the employer side than the employees that are paying up, that are paid up members.
China has this thing called the Silk Road, where they're investing all over the world. They're one of the largest investors in Africa, Latin America, and Asia. The Chinese say that they're helping to develop the rest of the world by their investments. What do you feel about that? It's being an African worker, a Namibian worker in Namibia with a private Chinese employer. Do you think their investment is helping you out?
Not at all. I mean, that is how should one really put it? I would rather prefer having Europeans and Americans investing in Africa, because generally speaking, these guys that are coming from communist countries, they don't know what is human right. You understand? I don't think really they pity for human beings. When you're saying of development, I'm talking of employees that I found in this company that have been here over 10 years now, who still live in shack and informal settlement with their wives and children. I mean, if somebody have worked for a company for over 10 years, by now you should have a proper house built with bricks, should have a car, should have medical aid. I mean, when you talk of uplifting people's life and whatever you are investing, but why are the people still in poverty? Why are the people still poor that works for you? But the company is growing. I mean, like I found this company not even having proper machineries or cars. And today they are buying cars like they're buying shoes. They're buying machineries like they're buying sweets from the market. But what about the employees? The employees' life is just going down. There's no improvement. I mean, so how does one really conclude that they are really uplifting Africa or Namibia in particular if the workers themselves, you can see that these people's life is not progressing. There is no progress in their life.
Also, I mean, the whole issue of health and safety, if there is no proper health and safety in your industry, the mining industry is a dangerous industry. The mines, even uranium mines, is dangerous for the workers. Their lifespan is limited because of uranium. What does that say about the future of workers in Namibia if they have no protections and if their national unions won't defend them?
Their life is on the line. I can recall in 2017, we had a fatality where one of our employees lost their life. He was run over by this heavy earth moving machinery, which we call loaders. And the Minister of Mines were here doing investigation. There were safety officers here. There were government were here, police were here. There was a lot of investigation done. And I was the supervisor on that site. And we went to the Minister of Mines and Energy's office in Windhoek, in our capital city. Company was told to put safety measurements in place, to get a safety officer, to get an ambulance on site. I mean, as we are speaking now, we are now in 2021, nothing have been done. After they had a fatality where somebody have lost his life, nothing have been done.
This sounds like the United States, actually, because workers are being killed and injured here in the United States as well. The OSHA, which is supposed to be responsible, Occupational Health and Safety Agency, has been captured by the companies.
Yes.
So they don't have enough workers and inspectors, and they don't follow through. Companies are getting away with bloody murder, actually, here in the United States.
This is a site that was supposed to be stopped with operations if they cannot compile. But one just wonder, how did they get it right to keep operating a site that had a fatality, that were told what to implement and what to bring on site to get a safety officer, but up until today, it's business as usual.
Company is able to operate with impunity. They're not forced to follow those health and safety regulations at this mine.
It's a big shame. I mean, we have foreigners that came here, those Chinese that came here. We have followed the document of the affirmative action on how they were put in as technical advisors, but these guys are ordinarily general work. I mean, somebody that works in procurement, just in a store, where you just say, okay, guys, I need a drill, I need a screwdriver. This job is done by Chinese, which an ordinary Namibian can do. But there in the Equity Commissioner's report, the guy is a technical advisor. How do you call somebody a technical advisor? It's just a mechanic doing mechanic work that can be done by ordinary Namibian. There are dump truck operators here. There are machinery operators, which Namibians can do. I mean, if we want to talk of decreasing the high unemployment rate, then we should think of giving our citizens those jobs and enforce the law to minimize foreigners coming to take over our job that can be done by Namibians.
And we're speaking with Tuhafeni. How long have you worked at the mine there, the Beshire mine?
I've been here now for 6 years.
Seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. You know, I thought things were really improving. I think with my experience, I came to tell them how to go about, but it seems to me they just don't want to do the right thing. I think they just want things to be done their way. I mean, the problem is also, I think, with now the overpopulated of Chinese in this company, they want to enforce their communist law, whereby a worker or an employee does not have a right. If they tell you to do something, you have to do it. You don't have to ask a question or what, and then you are considered as a bad employee.
It sounds like a company union situation. The company
Yes.
owners decide what the workers need to do without
Yes.
independent unions.
Yes.
So you think that's the way it operates in China as well? The company unions tell them what to do and they have to go along with it.
Maybe it might even be more worse compared to in Namibia, because I don't think I've watched some documentaries about China, and I just don't know.
And where do the Chinese workers live? Do they have housing?
Yes, the Chinese workers are accommodated at the factories we speak now. They built some flats here, some apartments for the Chinese employees to stay. They're staying for free.
So the Chinese workers have decent housing, decent conditions, and it's the Namibian
Yes.
workers who are
Yes, they are living luxury. I don't want to lie to you. They are living luxury.
they're living luxury, and you're living in hovels.
We're living in harbors, and we are the owner of the natural resources that they came to exploit here. That's the whole thing. I mean, should not be this way. Should be more or less a 50-50 thing, you know, company gain, employees gain.
But that's not taking place in your mine. And is that the same situation in other mines, marble mines?
Yes, this is the situation. It's the same. There's another mine called Umsati Granite. It's the same. There's another one called Dreamland. There's another one that just came now, MJ. I don't know now what is the definition of MJ. I mean, like the guys of MJ just called me, I think 3 weeks ago, whereby employee was sick and he was told to wait up until knock-off time so that they can take him to the hospital. I mean, nobody wanted to take the guy to the hospital, you know. They have to wait until they knock off. This is how worse it is. And some of those mines don't have even trade unions. Some of those guys does not have even proper PPE. I mean, to work with, you know. Some of the guys are wearing their own private shoes or private overalls and so on. This is very worse, you know.
And the pandemic now, Namibia's locked down. What has been how have you been treated during the pandemic? And has that been an issue in your mind?
I don't even think there's any measurements been put in place as we are speaking now. Some of us work from home.
I see. George, what are the lessons of this struggle of the mine workers from Beshear? It seems like their struggle, their fight for a union, their fight for better conditions is similar to the Rossing miners as well. You were fighting to enforce your health and safety standards, and they didn't like the fact that they had a union. Is there a comparison, George?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I think it's a lesson learned. It's similar to our struggle. It's an attack on the union. You can see that this is a system that the company is using to get rid of the strong union leadership that is there. And the lessons that we can learn and take forward is to stand together, unite, educate, and never to give up on this fight, because we need to protect this for our children that are coming after us.
And Julius, what are your thoughts after hearing from the workers at the Beshear mine?
It's worrisome that it has come to this in an independent country. But from our side, I think the message, the slogan that says an injury to one is an injury to all should be the message that we spread as workers, as leaders. We need to, this is the time that we should join hands so that we can fight this onslaught that we are experiencing against these imperialists, that are the merciless imperialists that we have. So we fully support our fellow comrades at Beshear, and we hope that victory will be certain.
And there's a strike of miners in the United States, in Alabama. They've been on strike for 4 months, and the union leadership as well has tried to force them back to work, concession contracts. It seems like there's a global struggle. It's not just in Namibia, but right here in the United States, the rich United States, where miners are fighting for their rights. So it seems like the necessity of international solidarity is critical.
The other thing, Steve, as Comrade
Tuhafeni said, the mining industry is a hazardous industry. And imagine for our comrades at Bestia that are working there without a proper medical aid. It's worrisome. How many people are getting these hazardous chemicals in their systems and there's no proper medical checkups? Do they even have a yearly medical checkup that the company provides? Because those are the things that are prescribed in the Labor Act. At least yearly medical or twice yearly biannual checkups must be done on mine workers so that you can see the conditions of our miners. But I don't think this is happening at Bestia. And those are the things that we need to fight.
Okay, well, I want to thank you all, Tuhafeni, solidarity for your struggle, and we will get the word out. I think your struggle is important for all workers around the world. It's not just Namibia, but workers around the world need to build solidarity and education to link up, because we're facing the same attacks on workers' rights, human rights, health and safety, and the future of working people around the world. So thanks for joining us on Work Week.
Thank you very much.